Welcome to my channel. Today, we are going back in time to discover how chocolate was invented and who the genius was behind it. So let's jump right onto the screen.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we are going on a serious historical journey into the ancient roots of chocolate. I mean, it's pretty much everyone's favorite treat, right? But if you think you know the whole story behind how it got to your pantry, you might be in for a huge surprise. Let's trace this all the way back to the very beginning.
So, do you know what chocolate was actually like 4,000 years ago? Just close your eyes for a second and think about that delicious, melt-in-your-mouth sensation you usually get when you take a bite. Well, whatever you're picturing in your head right now, I can almost guarantee that 4 millennia ago, it was radically different. You definitely wouldn't find it sitting in the candy aisle.
Yeah, today we know chocolate as this sweet, solid bar that has that perfect snap when you break a piece off. But 4,000 years ago, it wasn't a solid bar whatsoever. It was originally a bitter, hot, and honestly, highly spicy drink. It was a totally different sensory experience. To put it into perspective, it was much more like a fiery soup than a comforting, sweet dessert.
All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the bitter beginnings. So, to really understand how we went from a spicy, hot liquid to a sweet, modern candy, we have to travel back to the ancient Olmec and later the Maya civilizations over in Mesoamerica. These guys were basically the original visionaries who unlocked the hidden secrets of the cacao tree. And they didn't just pluck a bean off a branch and eat it. Oh no. They developed a highly meticulous 4-step preparation method. Step 1, they'd extract the seeds, or the beans, from the thick pod-like fruit of the cacao tree, and they fermented them to unlock the flavor. Step 2, they carefully laid them all out to sun-dry. Step 3 involved roasting those dried beans and grinding them all the way down into a thick, heavy paste. And finally, Step 4, the kicker. They mixed this rich paste with water, various spices, and most notably, chili peppers. They whipped the whole shebang into this frothy, spicy concoction. Now this spicy, frothy drink actually had a very specific name. The ancient peoples called it chocolatl, and that ancient word translates directly to bitter water. It's kind of fascinating, right? Because you can totally hear that this is the phonetic root of our modern word, chocolate. But make no mistake, this bitter water was absolutely nothing like the sweet, hot cocoa you might sip on a winter day today. It packed a massive, savory, spicy punch. Which brings us to section 2, the valuable currency of the Aztecs. Fast forward a few centuries, and as the great Aztec civilization rises to power, cacao isn't just a daily beverage anymore. It literally transforms into an incredibly valuable commodity that drove their entire ancient economy. In fact, cacao beans were officially recognized as currency across the Aztec Empire. Now you might be wondering, why the number 100? Well, according to historical estimates, a mere 100 cacao beans could buy you one whole live goat. Imagine that, just going down to the market today and paying for your major purchases with handfuls of chocolate beans. That is just how highly prized and economically vital they were.
But the reason for this astronomical value goes way beyond just basic economics. The Aztecs deeply, fundamentally believed that cacao was a direct gift from their gods. Because of this really powerful divine connection, this precious bitter drink was strictly off-limits to regular everyday people. It was heavily gatekept, exclusively reserved for royalty, high-ranking military officers, and the absolute wealthiest elite of Aztec society.
And to give you a sense of just how obsessed the Aztec elite were with this divine drink, historical records indicate that the famous Aztec emperor Montezuma alone would consume up to 50 cups of this bitter, spicy beverage every single day. Seriously, 50 cups. And he drank it out of golden goblets too, truly cementing its status as the ultimate beverage of supreme power and unbridled luxury.
Moving right along to section 3, Europe's sweet change.
So how exactly did this highly localized drink cross the ocean and become a global phenomenon? Well, in the year 1528, the Spanish explorer Hernán Cortés encountered this bitter water during his expeditions in the Americas. He decided to bring these precious cacao beans all the way back across the Atlantic Ocean to Spain. But here's the thing, when the Spanish first tried the traditional Aztec recipe, with all that intense chili heat and bitterness, it just didn't suit their palates at all. So they made a massive, real game-changing alteration. They stripped out the chili peppers completely, and instead, they added sugar, vanilla, and cinnamon. By mixing in those sweet, aromatic ingredients, they completely transformed chocolate from a harsh, savory soup into a sweet, delicious, and highly desirable luxury drink.
And Spain instantly realized the immense economic potential of this newly invented sweet recipe. Actually, they loved it so much that they kept it a closely guarded national secret. Just think about that for a second. For an entire century, 100 full years, Spain successfully managed to hide this incredible sweet chocolate drink from the rest of the world. No way, right? But as you know, culinary secrets of this magnitude always leak out eventually. Slowly but surely, the recipe crossed borders, spreading to France, England, and ultimately conquering the palates of all of Europe to become an absolute sensation among the nobility.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 4, the journey to modern chocolate.
Let's jump ahead in time to the 19th century Industrial Revolution. Now, for hundreds of years up to this point, chocolate had remained exclusively a drink, but then incredible technological and mechanical advancements allowed it to finally take on that familiar, solid form we all immediately recognize today. The first massive breakthrough happened in 1847. An English company called J.S. Fry & Sons figured out how to mix cocoa powder, sugar, and melted cocoa butter to create the very first solid chocolate bar. Suddenly, chocolate was something you could actually bite into. Then, just a few decades later, in the 1870s, a guy named Daniel Peter over in Switzerland had another stroke of absolute genius. He figured out how to seamlessly add milk powder to the mix, officially inventing milk chocolate. These two remarkable historic milestones gave us the solid, creamy, melt-in-your-mouth treats that completely dominate supermarket shelves worldwide today.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. We've traced the ancient roots of chocolate, from a spicy, bitter water all the way to the modern sweetness we crave on a daily basis. What an evolution, right? So after learning all of this rich history, what's your ultimate preference? Are you a purist who loves the intense, rich flavors of dark chocolate? Or do you prefer the smooth, creamy sweetness of milk chocolate that was invented in Switzerland? Let me know your choice in the comments. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.